Hi, Learn 11 class. You are now watching video 3 of the time management lecture. In this lecture, we're going to talk about prioritizing tasks, and then we're going to talk about weekly schedules and how we can use the weekly schedule to create a daily schedule. So ideally, we are going from the monthly calendar and then looking at the monthly calendar and filling in our weekly calendar each week. And then once we do that with the weekly, then we can start every day, look at our weekly calendar and create a schedule for ourselves each day. So what you're going to need is the prioritizing activity, the one that says A, B, and C on it. You're also going to need a weekly schedule and the daily schedule. They're blank handouts for you, okay? I also suggest using a pencil, but having a highlighter or markers or colored pencils near you in case you wanted to, organize your time by color. Okay, we're going to start first with slide 13 rather than 12. I'm going to go back to 12. I just realized it's probably out of order, but the way that I lecture in the classroom is a little bit different. So with a priority list, when we're prioritizing, it can sometimes be difficult to prioritize or to get started on anything, to schedule anything when we're feeling really overwhelmed by how much we need to complete or get done. I know for me, I'm not a linear thinker, obviously. I don't know if you noticed that from watching all my videos, but I have thoughts and ideas, and even when I'm speaking, half of the sentence comes, the last half of the sentence comes first and the second half comes last, and I'm all over the place that way, and that's me. That's how I roll. So I know that when I'm overwhelmed with so many activities, I have to take a really deep breath, and slow down and write everything that's on my mind, everything that I know I need to do that's really bogging me down, write it down in a list. Also, I keep Post-its with me a lot of the time so that I can write things that I want to include on that list later on when I get home or when I get to my office. So instead of, thinking, oh, I'll add that later, I just add a sticky note to it. My phone has been a lifesaver when I'm not at work so that I can save things in my notes. But also, I have a couple of apps that you may be interested in. And I should have added a slide to this. I'm just realizing now that has all of those calendar apps that are so handy. But I will send an announcement and to you now and then make a slide for the future. Some of those apps, let's see, are, where are we? OneNote is a great one. That's a Microsoft app. Google Calendars, that's a great one. I also use my notes in my phone a lot. Really gonna try and stop saying in this video. So here we go. I'm gonna be an expert soon and then I won't have to say We're gonna go over to the prioritizing activity. The slide that we were looking at has the directions for how to do this. So there's nothing really on there except for the directions if you wanted to know what that slide was about. On the activity is blank for you, but I went ahead and put a few things that may be on a list of a college student, but also half of that list is mine. Besides being in class, I'm teaching them. And I have a similar schedule to a student in that I'm prepping for classes, I'm grading, so I've got a lot of outside stuff to do as well, and it can feel overwhelming. So what you're going to do is in each box, you're going to fill in, just list all of the things you know you need to do, all of the things that might be bogging you down, all the way from, not just study stuff, but self-care stuff, like, I don't know, my massage, or, maybe going to the doctor appointment, stopping at Target to grab something. Little tiny things. Sometimes I have to mail things, and I have to remember as a priority that I'm mailing this out and it needs to get there by a certain date. So that would go on my list as well. Okay. And then for all that is of highest priority means it needs to be done now. Okay. Like the deadline is tomorrow or is today. Okay, I don't have any wiggle room there. Medium priority, and for all the high priorities, I'm going to put an A next to them. And for all the B priorities, these are medium priorities. Things like, or things that I might have a couple days, or they might just be personal things that are like nagging me, but they aren't the most important. I'm not going to be in trouble or have any consequences maybe for them. Maybe I will if I push it any longer than, 48 hours. Okay, that would be B. So I'm going to put B next to all my medium priorities. And then place C next to all your least priorities, the ones that you could finish at the end of the week. You have several days. Maybe these ones have no consequences. Or also, what C could be is, let's say you have an essay due and you have a week to do it. Well, what I might put in A priority is to begin by writing my thesis statement and my introduction, because I want to get started. I only have a week, right? But the C priority might be the whole essay. Do you see what I'm saying? So we can chunk things, we can break up large projects or activities into smaller pieces and prioritize those smaller pieces so that when that 7 days is up, I actually have all of my essay done, or at least most of it, so that I can revise it before I hand it in. Okay? And then, let's see, do I want to move on? Oh yeah, then what I'm going to do is I'm going to list all of my A's together, all of my B's together, all of my C's together, and I'm going to put them in order of most important. So even within the A, the highest priority items, I'm still going to prioritize what needs to be done right now. Okay? And then beside each task, I'm going to estimate how long I think each of these will take me so that I know how much time I want to devote to each task. I don't know, some people are over budgeters and some people are under budgeters, and I'm probably an over budgeter, except that when I think of projects like a week from now, I will under budget, but if I think of something that I need to do today as a high priority, I will over budget. So I don't know if that's good or bad. That's just a habit that I have. You can notice that about yourself. So, and you can always, get better at this. The more that you practice, the more your estimations may become really, really clear and accurate. Okay, now on the slides, you can either pause the video now and do that prioritizing activity, or you can listen to what we're going to do with that in terms of the weekly and the daily calendars. Go ahead and pause if you'd like to pause. If you want to stay with me, here we go. We're going to move down to the weekly calendar. Weekly calendars will have, first thing I would do is go to my monthly calendar and fill in everything from the monthly calendar that's due that week, or that meetings I may have or appointments, and file that into my weekly calendar. And then I'm going to add any errands, like, let's say for this, this week, next week I have the essay that's due. What I might do for one day, Monday, is take that essay and just take one portion of it that I'm going to work on Monday, one portion of it that I'm going to work on Tuesday, one portion of it that I'm going to work on Wednesday, and so on. And I'm going to write that as detailed as possible in my weekly calendar. So if we sneak over here to the weekly calendar, I'll show you what one may look like. Here it is. Okay, so up here is my unit count. I times my unit count by 2, and that means I have 24 hours a week that I should be, around 24 hours a week, that I should be spending on studying just for my classes alone. That's not even counting being in class, okay? So what I did here was, let's see, can I make this any? Here we go. So when we look at, I've color-coded things, and everything in orange is for math, everything in purple, you can't really see it here on this schedule, but everything in purple is for English, everything in blue is for history, and then some of this other class maybe is just actually going to class, like yoga or something. There isn't any studying for it, or if there is studying for it, I've left gaps throughout my week. Maybe there's not weekly homework, but there's little projects, so I've left gaps there. So what we see here is, if you notice, for English, I've taken this week 10:16 through 10:22 from the monthly calendar. Where are you? Here we go. From the monthly calendar, and we see here's that week, okay? In that week, the major things that are due is that I'm seeing a math tutor. My English essay is due. It's a persuasive essay. I have a math test on chapter 7, and I'm going to see a doctor in Cerritos on Friday. Okay, so I'm reminding myself of where I need to go and how far I need to go, so that when I go to my weekly calendar and I'm filling it in, I do that first. And it's clear. I can move around all of the things that I need to do, all the appointments, okay? So I put those bigger ones in first, and now I'm going to start breaking up my study time and breaking up my projects into chunks so that I can do a little bit every day. So here for English, on Monday, I'm going to write the fourth body paragraph to my essay, because the previous week I was chunking as well, so now I'm on my fourth paragraph. On Monday, early in the day, I'm going to study for math, and I'm going to do problems 1 through 6. Now, I made this up, so I apologize if it's unclear, but I hope you're getting the idea that chunking up our study time to add up close to the amount of study time as possible can allow us to manage much better our larger projects and due dates and study overall preparedness for our class and our exams. Okay. A couple things I wanted to show you here is that I've added in some night walks, just 20 minutes, because looking at this schedule, there isn't very much time. I mean, we're not seeing past 9 o'clock and we're not seeing before 7 a.m. But this looks a little exhausting to me. So what I might do is, I know that maybe for the next couple weeks, things are going to be a little tough. And maybe I'll alternate. 1 week I'll take night walks, and another week I'll wake up early in the morning and I'll go to the gym 3 times a week. And then the next week I'll do night walks, more gentle, something gentle and light. And then the following week I'll go back to exercising. So something like that might be helpful. Or maybe one of these nights I go to the gym, and one I stretch instead of taking a night walk. But we want to get in that self-care and a little bit of movement and exercise, whatever that looks like for you. You know, we're going to talk about health later on in the semester, and some of those things may include or are going to include how to get exercise into our into each day, but to not have to go out and go to the gym necessarily. Maybe parking a little further and walking to class, taking a longer walk, or you know, maybe exercise is on a treadmill and doing flashcards. That was always hard for me to do, but I always saw people at the gym doing it when I was in college. So I've added those in there. What I've done as well is that since this person, or me, the alternative me, is, or alternative me, what is the word? My clone, is waking up early all of these mornings, and possibly even earlier than this, waking up really early, and then, you know, starting my day at 7. I've left a little bit of time on Saturday to sleep in and have more of an easy morning. Now, some weeks that might not happen. Something may have happened during the week that took some of my study time away, and on Saturday, I have to get up and study because that thing happened. Okay? But at least it's leaving a little bit of room for that. Also, down here, I've left my Friday night open to do something fun and social with my friends. I've made plans to get out of my head, have some time away from studying. Okay? Another thing is I've put in some errands, going to the bank, going to Target, going to the grocery store. Where's that? Here it is. So that I can get some of those things done too. On Saturday, I have here TV ? Homework ? Again, if I feel confident, or if I'm just really tired after I do my English worksheet because I've worked all day, maybe I went out the night before. If I'm feeling pretty confident that and sure that I've done what I could, not that I can do it tomorrow, not that attitude, but that I've done what I needed up to this point. Okay? We don't want to borrow from tomorrow in the same way that we don't want to borrow money from our future necessarily, unless it's absolutely critical. Okay? So here we'll see. I might relax, but I might do homework depending on how I'm feeling after work and how my week went, how productive I was during the week. On Sunday, I have meal prep, so I'm going to cook my food and I'm going to prep my meals for all week. And then I'm going to read some history. After that, I'm going to prepare myself because it is Sunday night and I'm going to go back to school on Monday. So I'm going to clean out my backpack and any junk that I've just thrown in there. I want to clean it out so that everything's fresh and neat and organized. I'm going to organize my folder and my binder, make sure that everything is in order, that I have the correct notebooks and folder for the next day. And then also I'm going to review my notes really quickly, and my calendars, my calendar or my class calendars to see what to do for the upcoming week. I'm preparing myself, getting all my calendars filled in. All my weekly calendar for the week filled in, and just feeling really prepared so that when I wake up next Monday and I have to be in class by 10 a.m., I don't feel lost and disheveled. Okay? So I hope that made sense for you, the weekly calendar. If you would like to work on your weekly calendar now, you can pause the video. Or if you want to come with me to the daily calendar, we're going to move over there now. So the daily calendar, where is it? It is nowhere to be found. Oh yeah, I know where it is. Okay, here we go. Now the daily calendar looks like this. So I go to my monthly calendar, my weekly calendar, and I take one of those days, let's say Monday. And I have here Monday, what Monday looked what Monday will look like. Okay, and this is earlier in the month. This is not from that weekly calendar. This is a different one. But this looks like almost the same routine. And what I've done also is in pink, I've done all of the kind of self-care things that I need to do that are personal for me. I'm going to use this time to travel and this little break between leaving school and going to work to call my friend and check in because I haven't socialized in a little while. Okay, and I know that in order to avoid procrastination, I need to feel connected and in charge of my life. So I'm going to go ahead and have a 15-minute phone call with a friend. And I'm going to let her know at the very beginning, I have 15 minutes. Do you have 15 minutes to talk? Okay. In orange is all the things that I need to do for studying. Okay. Blue is my needs, not necessarily the personal free time that I have, but the things I need to do for sustenance. I need to clean myself. I need to eat, right? Maybe if there was a nap in here, if we had time for naps, that would be in there too. And then green is all the commitments that are outside of studying. So, I have to be in class here. I have to go to work. And this is the daily calendar built from the weekly, and the weekly is built from the monthly. So that was just to reiterate what you've learned. Let me make sure we're done with these slides here. Now the daily slide tells you a little bit more about, you can add in the time and duration of how long you'll spend on things. If you really need to organize yourself, that's a good one. Like, I know I have to have everything in my calendar so I can go from one thing to the next without pausing and thinking about what I have to do, because that's when I lose focus. So if I can go to my calendar and it tells me, oh, it's 3 o'clock, I need to be working on this specific thing, then I move right into that thing and I can stay focused on it. All right, that's it for this video. We're going to move now into video 4, where we'll talk a little bit about procrastination and some of the tools that we can use when we feel that we are procrastinating. Thank you. I will see you soon.